One. Hello, everybody. Again, it is the last mark standing for Indie Pop on New Age Insiders Network. Damian Salty G and heel Trina herself, the Marquis Smart. What's up, Trina?
Hi, guys.
So guys, pardon the voice for one. I know I sound like Batman's ugly brother, but there is a perfectly good reason for this. Two things. Number one, we had a stupendous weekend at Glory Pro this past weekend in Alton, Illinois. And number two, we have a guest on, a featured commentator with us this week for Indie Pop. The man needs no introduction, but I'm going to try to do it anyway. As the Southern Don of Graps, he is the man I aspire to be like. He is what every wrestling fan, young, in between, old, in the grave, before the grave, should be. He is none other than the one, the only, Papa Hales. Papa, thank you for joining us on Indie Pop.
I am so excited to be on. I don't know who you're talking about in the intro. I'm really excited to be here because I think you guys know we've talked about it. I listen to your podcast fairly regularly, and just impressed at the professionalism of the whole thing, the way that you have it laid out. I just think it's done the right way. So I'm really excited to be here. And I'm hoping that we can talk about that Glory Pro experience. I think I might have some different insights into it because I've just been to so many shows over so many years that I feel I can speak to maybe how it's different, how it was unique, and why I think it has a very high potential for becoming a very important promotion.
Agreed.
Well, agreed. He set it up perfectly. So let's start there. This past Sunday, Alton, Illinois, the first show for Glory Pro, run by Michael Elgin. I mean, as strictly a fan, for me, it was one of the highlights of my entire life. And I'm not big on hyperbole, and you know this, Trina. I'm not big on that. Sit here and say that I, along with Rick Castle, commuted from New York City to go all the way over there to be a part of this very special show that brought so many people together and brought the best in wrestling fandom as well as wrestling as a sport. I almost have no words to describe it, and that's why we had to have Papa on, because I can only talk so much. Trina can only say so much. So we needed some backup. So Papa, let's start with you. In so many words, how would you describe what Glory Pro meant to you?
Well, the impact was tremendous. So great that I had to change my schedule, which I rarely do, and I'm coming back on May the 7th.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very unusual for me to change a schedule, a plan of where I had already planned to go to another promotion. But it was such a compelling story. It was so much more than I was expecting, because I was expecting it to be good, even very good, because I know Mike Elgin. I know what kind of a person he is. I know what a hard worker he is. He's a legend in Japan. He has earned his stripes the hard way. So, and I know with the training, the wrestlers that he does, I knew to expect something good. But it was way beyond something good. It was way beyond what I expected, which is what has compelled me to come back. But I'm going to mention just a few things and then let you guys talk about just the general overall experience. One of the things I love the most is I feel like the promotion and Mike has set out to make a pact with the fans. I see this as the type of promotion that is going to be successful because I see him reaching out and making a very deliberate effort and attempt to make this promotion something that is invested not only in great wrestling and wrestlers, but in the fans and the community. And that happens very rarely. And my favorite promotions, my very favorite promotions, do this type of thing in the entire country. Let me give you an example of one, CWF Mid-Atlantic. I feel like they reach out to the fans, and they're bringing their fans into their story, and they have a pact. They have a sacred agreement with those fans, and they have those storylines, and they develop their own talent, but they also bring in talent. And that's a successful formula. I see the same thing in a lot of ways in freelance wrestling in Chicago. Where they use and develop their own guys, but they still bring in other really good outside talent. I just think there's a need for that type of promotion solidly in the center of the country, in the Midwest. And I was ecstatic about the fact that I feel, and I haven't talked to Mike about that particular thing, but I honestly believe and feel with all my heart that he's reaching out to fans. And he wants to build that pact. He wants to build that bridge and pull the fans into everything that's happening, while at the same time providing the incredible wrestling talent, incredible matches. But in terms of where the promotion is going, I think that I see that fan promotion connection, which I think is going to be essential to being successful in that area, because St. Louis is a huge wrestling area, and it always has been, going back decades and decades and decades. The history in St. Louis is phenomenal. So coming up with the right formula and doing things the right way is going to be very important. When you open up a brand new promotion, in this day and age, you're taking a risk, a major risk. But it is clear and evident to me that Mike is totally committed to it, not just to the wrestlers, to the cards, but also to the fans, to building something special and long-term. Now, I'm an old man. I'm hoping when I'm long gone that Glory Pro will still be a fantastic promotion.
I'm getting chills.
Part of the issue with me in thinking about this today is I just don't have a lot of complaints. Usually I do, or there's something I can think, and Mike even asked me, what could we do better? And he's posted it. It's been posted on Twitter, as you know. How can we improve? One thing that I'll be honest, I got mad about it, but I'm over it. I wanted Glory Pro merch, and I wanted it right then. I want it sold right there at the shows on the spot. So that's my big complaint. So I hope Mike won't box me on that, but that's my complaint. I'll let you guys talk for a few minutes, and then I want to talk about some particular things in the card that I was very happy about. And I also want to talk about the fans, because there's just some incredible fans there, the enthusiasm, and maybe call out a few people, and it might get me in trouble. If it does, that's just too bad.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes, we love trouble here. Yes.
But I will say I got some pictures, several pictures I took. I'm not the best taker of pictures, but I had one that I posted of Sarah that was taking pictures during the event and kind of helping Mike with some other stuff. And I got a really beautiful picture. Sarah reached out and took the selfie. And when I looked at it, I just posted it on my Twitter. It was photobombed by Jason Kincaid. So he's right there in the back. You see it on my Twitter feed. But I just thought that was pretty funny. But I want you guys to share your experiences and what your feeling was, just kind of about maybe the direction or how you felt. And I want to get into more details about what makes me excited about going back.
So Trina, and for those that don't know, a little inside information here is that Trina was the ring announcer for Glory Pro. So she literally had the best seat in the house for most of the event. But as someone who is staunch of a wrestling fan and someone who is so passionate about this business and about this form of communication and entertainment, what are some of the things that stick out to you in regards to how Glory Pro played out? Because I know you want to cry right about now.
There's the right eye is already tearing. So,
so by all means, express all that as best as possible to the indie pop listeners.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to me, knowing how passionate of a fan that Papa Hales is, and how much I respect his word when it comes to indie promotions. I am going to try not to cry because it's going to waver here. And knowing the amount of work that Mike put into this, and things that I've helped him with in building this to get to Sunday. All of it's true, and it makes me happy as somebody who's worked behind the scenes with Mike, that people saw that, because that's exactly what we tried to put in. Papa Hales is right. The St. Louis area has a very rich history of wrestling, and Mike has been very integral in keeping that up with training his guys, Elgin Systems, all over. We have, Kurt Stallion going to ROH, and we have Todd Letterman over in the NWL. You can see Big Mike's influence all over the place. And so it was very important for him to put on a show that showed the fans that we still cared about wrestling in the St. Louis area. Other more backstory to this is that the National Wrestling League, which is the NWL, St. Louis and Kansas City, they run out of both cities, purchased most of the indie promotions in the area, including Anarchy Pro, which is where a lot of Big Mike students, spend a lot of their time. So a lot of his guys got part-time contracts. Some of his guys got full-time contracts. And so, we feared, I think, Mike did, that this was the loss of true indie promotions in St. Louis. And so it just, it happened very quickly. A couple days, Mike had the idea. He was shooting it off on Twitter like it was like fire. And Sean Orleans works really closely with Mike. I was asking him, like, what's going on? Do you need help? Let's do this. And, within like 3 days, I think we had the design, we had the date, the venue, everything was just set up. I mean, when I say passion project, hearts of fire. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Mike set out to do this, and he had a very clear goal of putting on a show that was going to be important to wrestling fans and important to wrestling, period. And I think he achieved that. I mean, I felt it palpably in the room. And so when Papa talks about that, as somebody who was the ring announcer, who worked the show, and just as the show went on, like, felt more and more comfortable, because this was my very first time being a ring announcer, you just couldn't help but feel the love in the room. Like, we were all just sharing a special moment, it didn't really matter if Matt Riddle beat Big Mike or vice versa. Like, we were all just watching something amazing and experiencing it very palpably all at the same time. Like, you could feel it to your bones.
That's a great way to describe it. My perspective is I didn't know what to expect going into this, because Trina, as you know, I'm mostly an East Coast guy.
Yeah.
And East Coast wrestling is a little different. The crowd is a little bit more rough around the edges, a little bit more unforgiving, almost borderline rude for a lot of the performers. And so I didn't know what to expect. And to be quite honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't surprised about the amount of talent that was present. I was surprised by people's reactions to everything going on, because I've seen, Kincaid before. I've seen, Ethan Page before. But watching them, in this venue and for this promotion, especially for a promotion that's just debuting, I mean, I don't want to piggyback too much off of you, but to say chills, I mean, look, my voice is gone. I mean, that tells you enough right there. For me to make the pilgrimage all the way from the East Coast, to Glory Pro, to the St. Louis area, that was the first for me. And I can honestly say this, and forgive me, House of Glory or Battle Club Pro or anybody else I go to on the East Coast.
Evolve, yeah.
Evolve. Y'all need to step y'all games up, man. Like, It's a very rare occurrence where Damian Salty G drops a stamp of approval so quickly after a show.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to admit, man, this is probably the best indie show I've seen live ever. And for it to be and I'm not getting paid to say that. No one at New Age Insiders is paying me. Glory Pro's not paying me. Papa Hales isn't paying me to say this. My opinion, and y'all know this. I shoot straight. This is the best independent wrestling show I have ever been a part of. And that even includes the last House of Glory I went to with the match of the year of 2016. So that tells you enough right there. And the fact that I was able to invest in every single performer, you know, from Kenway After Dark to Space Monkey to Kincaid to Sean Orleans to even something as he screamed in Ricky's face after his match. Jake Something screaming in Ricky's face after he won his match. Like, that's just, I think Papa Hale's hit on the head where he says it's about connecting and including the fans in what you're trying to do. And I think it even started at the beginning of the show where Mike says, there's kids in the crowd, watch yourself. I told the talent, watch yourselves. Even Kurt Stallion wanted to curse and he didn't curse, you know? So I think that setting the tone early was knowing that this is a family-friendly show, but you can still have an effective show, even though it's quote-unquote family-friendly. So for me, as a watcher, as a member of the media, quote-unquote, as a broadcaster, I was blown away, and I was so honored to be there, to the point where I'm trying to pull a Papa and go to May 7th, even though May 6th is Battle Club in the Bronx, but May 7th is Glory Pro, so I have some finagling to do with my scheduling. But that just goes to show people came from all over to see this, and I am so honored, and I'm so touched, and I'm sure everybody else is, and I'm sure Papa's going to share more stories of just being a part of this, and I'm glad I was there.
Oh yeah, I'm crying.
I know you are.
You guys have had enough time now, and I'm adding my spiel here. So.
Let's go, Papa. Let's go.
Okay, Papa, this is your show. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to make sure everyone understands I have no connection to Glory Pro. I have no dog in this fight.
Yeah.
I'm just a person who travels around the country, literally, to dozens and dozens, well, literally hundreds of shows, because I love wrestling so much. I'm able to do it, and people are just so kind and helpful to me because I have some health issues, especially vision, and I love wrestling so much. So I want people to understand that I don't have any financial investment, I don't have any contractual investment or any connection to Glory Pro. I do know Mike, I know Trina, and some other people there that probably will be wrestling a good bit. I do know a lot of people that are in the industry, but I don't have a connection to it. My connection to Glory Pro comes from my first experience with the fantastic show they put on, and it's a connection of the heart, not because of who I am, but because I'm a fan, and the show was fantastic, and I know and believe deep down in my heart that they're reaching out to me, and they're providing that product that's something that I crave, that every real wrestling fan should crave. I want to talk about some things on the card that really impressed me, that reached out to me, that spoke to me. You mentioned Kenway.
Yes.
I saw Kenway wrestle last year, and I thought, you know, he's got potential. He might be pretty decent with some training and some more work, and you know, he could go somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when Mike gave him the opportunity in the opener before the show actually started, kind of a little pre-show match, I watched him and I thought, oh my God, he has really gotten good since the last time I saw him.
Oh, now I'm really gonna cry.
Yeah, I almost didn't recognize him because he'd made so much gain, if that makes sense.
Yes,
And
yes.
I thought, wow. Number one, I was ecstatic that Mike had decided that he was going to reward some of these guys that are working with a pre-match that was a good, solid pre-match. Were there some mistakes in it? Yeah, there were some mistakes in it, but there was some really good stuff in it. And it just touched me to see that Kenway had grown so much, which is a
I love
little
it.
thing. It's a little thing for some people, but it's a big thing for me. And Dylan noticed it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy that Mike was willing to put that pre-match on there because it I learned something from it, and it said something about what he was going to do with the promotion. Which to me, the statement to me as a fan was, if guys are working, they're improving, they're looking for a spot in this promotion, I'm going to give them a shot to prove themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to take that shot and do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mike, I guarantee you, expects 100% from everybody. He's expecting everybody in every instance. I don't care what they're doing in the promotion, from taking pictures to ring announcers to every single match, and he wants people to do things right and give 100%. Now he knows there's going to be mistakes. We all make mistakes, and Mike makes mistakes, but not giving 100%, not totally committing to this project. I do not think Mike will accept that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And I can perceive that as a fan. And I love the fact that he had that first match, and that's a message to me as a fan. That message, you know what? If you work hard, if you learn the craft, Mike Elgin is going to give you a chance to prove yourself. If you take that chance and do something with it, you know what? You're going to be on the big card eventually. So that's a good message to fans. Couple other things that's touched me in the card itself. I actually loved the Sean Orleans squash match because every card needs a good squash.
Yes.
And, Sean is the perfect guy for this. The opportunity to show Espinoza as a monster, and also the opportunity to portray Sean as that underdog who still came out and gave that promo. And the message to me is, Sean, you better keep working. You got to keep trying. You're going to be the underdog. You better bust your butt, and who knows what might happen. This is the message I'm getting. And I think that's important because I see the storytelling aspect of Glory Pro already coming into play.
Yep.
And a good promotion has got to have stories. I don't care how good your matches are. If you don't have stories and characters, and you're not reaching out and drawing fans into what's happening, your promotion is not going to be successful. So I love that little squash match, and it was very short, as you know. Scramble I loved, because now the scramble, as my son put it, to me, as Dylan put it to me, my gosh, this scramble has 4 or 5 guys that have been like the highlights of St. Louis wrestling in that local area over the past several years. Plus, you throw in Space Monkey. So that was just that incredible, wild match that I love to see on a card. It was placed well, right, kind of where it should have been, in my opinion, on the card. And I love that, and I love seeing those guys like Davey Vega and all of those guys that have been around. Gary J.
Yes.
They're just phenomenal, and they already have so much cred, and just to see them as part of that was great. And I'm really happy the way the scramble turned out, because we had almost like, what, I won just on a sudden finish there, and poor Space Monkey is like, wait, what happened? So that was great. I will tell you what the moment of the match, or the moment of the entire card for me, the moment when I knew that this was that Mike was on a mission from God. That moment, that wide awake, oh my God moment, was the Stallion Erie match.
Yes.
I knew, I was 100% convinced that Big Mike and Riddle would be off the charts. I knew that. I knew the four-way for the championship was going to be great. And I love Kurt. He's just come so far, and he's just such a great wrestler with so much talent and potential. And of course, he's in the Ring of Honor top prospect. So I knew how far he'd come. But my God, was he sensational in that match. And of course, Erie is a legend. And I know there had to be some last minute changes on the card too. But that match, honestly, guys, that match took my breath away. And that hardly ever happens. I was absolutely astonished and stunned at the quality of that match. Once people got invested in it with those two characters, and Kurt was fabulous in the character that he portrayed, but once people got invested in that match, they got to their feet and they couldn't sit down. To the finish, that sudden submission finish, and it was done right. It was a brilliant finish because it was not this mamby-pamby, oh, maybe I'll get out of it, or all. It was building to a submission, and when the submission happened, it was delivered with tremendous impact, and that's the way it should be. That was a brilliantly done match, and honestly, that was the moment for me. Now, you may disagree with me on that. I don't know what your feelings are about the card, but I was expecting, of course, it to be good. But it was absolutely great, and the impact. As I said, I literally lost my breath. My heart stood still in that. And then the remaining matches were of course fantastic. I want to say something about the way the card was designed, and I love Big Mike for this. Matt Riddle and Big Mike, honestly, are two of the greatest independent wrestlers in the world.
Agreed.
That's the fact. You can't find a better matchup of two people anywhere in the world. And a lot of promotions, a lot of promoters would have said, hey, this is a marquee matchup, which it was. Let's make this the main event.
Yes, exactly.
But you know what? Mike did the exact right thing. He said, this is about Glory Pro. This is about who's going to be the first champion of Glory Pro. That is our main event. And that's the way the card was run, and that was the exact right call. And that is a message to fans. It's a message to people who are interested in that promotion. It's a message, I hope, to other promoters that you need to build a promotion the right way, that people are going to have to do things a certain way to provide the promotion, the image, and what you're trying to build. And I commend Mike 100% on that decision. I don't know what went into it, because I could tell you a lot of promoters would have said, oh my God, I have the chance to wrestle Matt Riddle, who'll be two of the best in the world. We're going to be the grand finale. Now, you may disagree with me on that, but I am 100% convinced that he made the right call. It was the right thing to do for the promotion. And the Riddle match with Mike Elgin was unbelievably hard hitting. You literally have to be. You would have to be there to understand. And Riddle is such a great seller. He always takes a lot of shots, and Mike will deliver a shot, or he's not going to do it.
Right.
So it was tremendously physical. And one thing I loved about it is sometimes Matt has a little bit more finesse, and he's not delivering blows, or they don't appear to be as hard as they could. There was none of that. It was all about
Nope.
grow with vicious attacks on Mike. So that physicality was evident, apparent, and totally believable. And the fact that Mike lost clean to Matt Riddle, that was a decision that was made, and I believe it was made for the promotion, for Glory Pro. I believe it was made because Mike said, this is how it's done. You provide the best story. You provide the best wrestling. You provide the best outcome and impact for your fans, for the stories. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you put somebody over. This is part of doing things the right way. I think Mike's given this a lot of thought. I haven't talked to him about this. I'm sure you, Trina, might have more than I do. But I'm just in my feelings, and I hope I haven't gone too long. I'm probably
It's fine, Papa.
in the final match for the first champion was a main event, as it should be. And boy, I was totally blown away because I had no idea who the champion was going to be and who it ended up being. And I love that. I love that. I didn't know who was going to win. I began to think about it, and I thought, well, you know, Paco's so over. He's got a really good chance to win. And then I thought, well, you know, Ethan Page, he's such a big name. He's done so much. I mean, he's could very well be the guy. I was not expecting Jason Kincaid. But I'm going to tell you something. I have seen Jason many times, and I'll make a disclaimer here. I do know Jason.
Okay.
And I've spent time with him, and I've spent time with his wife. But he was astonishingly good, I thought, at Glory Pro. He brought that unique style, that unique game, and still had the stiff work when he needed to have it, but just that exciting, totally, you never know what he's going to do next. And to see him win that thing, the joy on his face, it was just evident. This is the pinnacle of his career, and he has an amazing career. He's a rising star in Evolve and a lot of other places, and he's just a good old West Virginia boy. But he has poured his heart into wrestling. He really, really works at his craft. But he's such a very unique character that I really love the fact that he was the champion. I'm going to mention a few more things and then let you guys talk because I've talked for a long time.
No, I'm loving it. Keep going.
Well, Dylan mentioned to me, this comes from my son Dylan now. He said that some decisions were made that he just thought were very, very good for the promotion and as a part of the experience. He loved the fact that you had a press conference at the end of the show, which Trina moderated. But Dylan was very impressed with that. He said that's very important for a lot of different reasons. He said it encourages the fans and the media folks from wrestling, as well as the fans, to have that interaction with the wrestlers. Dylan said it also puts these guys on the line to have to learn that craft.
Yes.
Because you're going to have to be able to respond to these questions and quickly and in a coherent fashion, and that's not easy to do. So it's a learning experience. It brings in the media, it brings in the fans, and it's going to take a few minutes to break down a ring and do all those things you have to do anyway after a show, as you know. And Dylan felt that was a really good use of time to have that press conference and to give the guys an opportunity to ask questions, to respond to the media people and some fans as well. And he said that also gives some of the wrestlers that maybe have some merch a few more minutes to maybe move some merchandise and do some other things. So he liked that. He also mentioned the fact that when Mike's wife came into the ring to talk about women,
yes,
and the fact that Glory Pro is going to be bringing women in on a limited basis, not every show, but certain shows, that they are going to have some marquee matches with women.
Mm-hmm.
And Dylan and I both believe that the women that are brought in, when they're brought in, are going to be people that are at the top level
Mm-hmm.
and are going to be providing tremendous matches. And that's exciting to me because I know a lot of the top women. So Mike, talk to me, Mike. But there's not going to be any pillow fights. You're not going to be any pillow fights or panty matches at Glory Pro. It's going to be hard women's wrestling, professional wrestling, with all of the strikes, with all of the selling, with the storytelling, with the reaching out to the fans and everything that's expected. So I was excited to hear that, and Dylan thought that was a good thing. But overall, just incredible experience. The fans were fantastic. They were so invested. And they came from all over the place. I had people coming up to me. I mean, literally, I looked at my camera. I've got probably 25 people that wanted pictures with me. I think it's because they thought, wait, it's an old man. Let's make that grandpa picture. I don't know what. But I had some people that came from as far away as New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, and they had made shirts honoring my Papa Hale shirt. They had taken my the design of my shirt and made the shirts as a tribute to me, and they came and bought Papa Hale shirts, and they wanted to get pictures with me, but I was just practically in tears at that point. But I was just impressed that they had come so far, and so many people came such a great distance, which is always a good thing. And I got to meet some new fans, got a lot of pictures. I'm going to call out Team Klein. I probably shouldn't.
Yes.
But I love Jason Klein because he's one of the best wrestling fans in the world. He has a wonderful family. He always brings his little boy with him, or one of them. There were a lot of other little young people there, which is always tremendous, always great. And the last one I want to mention, I met a new friend. And I honestly, when I saw what a great fan she was literally jumping up and down, and I could hear her screaming. And I looked back and I said, who is this? And I looked at this little tiny, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tiny little girl, and just so absolutely wired for wrestling. And I could just see, my God, she's so totally invested in this. She just like, yes, like she can't get enough. So I couldn't take it. I had to go back and demand a Mark picture with her. I said, can I please take a picture with you? And her name was Gabby. I think she's Glorious Gabby.
Glorious Gabby. Yes.
Yes.
On Twitter. I think you guys know her.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
But I think she's on my feed, but I've never really talked to her or known her. And so when I came back there, I said, can I get a picture with you? She freaked out because she knew who I was. And I heard her say, either to me or maybe she said it somewhere I saw, that she can be a little timid about going up to people. So she might have been timid about asking, I don't know whether she was or not. But I said, listen, I want you to get your picture with Matt Riddle. So I told Matt, I said, look, I've got a friend I want you to take a picture with. And he did. And of course, you know that I know a lot of the guys, but she is an absolute gem of a wrestling fan. And I went and I looked at her Twitter. She put out a little video on Twitter about her experiences at Glory Pro, and she took so many great pictures. But I'm sorry, that I have to put a fan over, but I just think she's the greatest, and she'll probably beat me up for me saying this. But and I didn't realize that you knew her, so that's just even more interesting. I also was very happy when we took that picture, because I had not had a picture with Damian since we were in New York. Am I right, Damian?
No, you're absolutely right. We haven't had a picture since Evolve. Yeah.
And I was upset about that when I got back home and I was thinking about my pictures. One of the things I said, damn it, I didn't get a picture with Damian, and that was one of my goals, to hang out with him a little bit and get a picture. Well, when I looked at the picture with Trina and Gabby, and Damian was in that picture. He was in the back. So I said, yes. I didn't realize it until I got home and I kind of put everything together. But, and Damien's another one of these guys that can be a little timid about going up to people. Am I right, Damien?
Yeah, everyone knows that I have social anxiety, so I am a little timid when approaching people. So yeah.
Right, right. But I guess you probably figured out that I'm not so much for me.
No, no.
But I was really excited when I saw you in that picture. But I just wanted to point out a few things about the fans, about how they've come from so far, how they were so invested. I call my buddy Tommy the Bible College graduate, Berserker Superior on Twitter, carried us from the airport. And I know you guys know Tommy, a great guy.
Yes, yes.
And a huge supporter of wrestling in the St. Louis area. And so many guys with that background of St. Louis wrestling with their locals, but a lot of guys from the outside. But the foundation of Glory Pro is going to have to be locals. But hopefully there'll always be an interest if it's built right, the way that it's going now. And it's going to bring in a lot of outsiders to tell the tale. Because I hope not only does it succeed and do extremely well and grow and continue to blossom, but I hope that Mike can show that his promotion can be a model for other areas.
Yes, yes.
Promotions similar to that, where they develop, build their own talent, but also can bring in some strong, great competitors from outside, but always with the idea of working with your promotion, building those stories, raising up those guys and send them out into the world. I mean, he must be a proud daddy of little Kurt Stallion after what I saw this weekend. I don't know how he feels about Kurt's match because I hadn't talked to him specifically about that, but I was blown away by what Kurt did. Now up in the Ring of Honor stuff, I'm thinking, you know what? If the boy would please eat a little bit of fried chicken, some cake at City Diner in Chattanooga, put on a few pounds. I say this out of love because he is incredible and was huge for me. Big shout out to Space Monkey, who I really love. His monkey is getting a little bit better. He's able to translate a little more into English. Of course, monkey's his primary language.
Of course.
Change when I bought the Space Monkey doll, and so I'm so proud that he's getting those math skills. Ethan Page, always my buddy. Enjoy hanging out with him. And like I said, all the St. Louis guys, Gary J. and Davey Vega, and really all of these guys. Just a wonderful overall experience for me. And like I said, I was compelled to go back. I wasn't planning on it. Now, one other potential problem for Mike is he set an extremely high standard.
Yeah.
He's got two choices. He can either continue pushing, building, or go back. And I don't think he wants to go back, which means he's got a high bar. People are going to have to keep working. I noticed one of the things I was very excited about on a May 7th card is Jason Cade is coming in.
Yes.
Jason Cade, I know him well, is an amazing wrestler. I think he's about to break out. And he's been in Style Battle or fixing to come up in Style Battle on WWN. I've seen him a number of matches. He is just, I think, on the breakout cusp of becoming a really big star. So I was so excited to see that he's going to be on that show. Just to mention one guy, if you don't mind me poking ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Last thing, a family-friendly atmosphere there. I love the fact that Mike went in there and explained that he wanted to keep this, keep the cursing and some of the negative stuff out, which is not necessary to have a great show, and he proved.
Nope.
He absolutely proved it. So I hope he maintains that policy. I go to all kinds of shows. Some are a very adult atmosphere where you have a lot of language that is not so good. Some are very family oriented, and I know you guys know I'm associated with the Scenic City Invitational.
Yes.
our event at a high school. And so it's a family friendly atmosphere. And we just don't have that kind of, those kind of negative adult types of language and whatnot. So I applaud that. In certain venues, in certain situations and promotions, that's a decision that the promoter has to make.
Mhm.
And in that situation, what his plans are and what he wants to do and who he is as a man, that's the decision Mike's made, and I think we should all respect it. And
Mhm.
I just think it's great that he's done that. So I'm pretty much gassed. My voice, which wasn't too good to begin with, is now gone. I did tell Mike again that the reason that I loved it so much was not even the great matches, and there were many great matches on that card. It wasn't even the fact that it was run well. The doors opened on time. The
Yep.
show didn't last forever. I think Mike told me it went over by 14 minutes, and he wasn't happy with that. So he's going to try to do what is helpful to fans. Fans appreciate that. You know, they appreciate the doors opening on time. They appreciate the show not lasting 2 hours longer than it's supposed to. But this is all important stuff. And I just don't have a lot of criticisms. I feel bad about that because I know like Mike likes to get impact. Tell him I complained and cried about the merch
Okay.
because because you know I'm big on the merch game, Trina.
Yes.
So that was the one thing. I will say, last thing I want to say, Big Mike Elgin earned a Papa Hale shirt.
Oh, nice.
And that's not easy to do for a
No,
record
it's
or
not.
whatever. So that tells you how I feel about it. But what I was most impressed with was not the individual, everything that happened in the ring, no matter how great it was that it just touched me deeply in an emotional way. It was that emotional connection, that connection between what was going on in the ring and the promotion and what was happening within me, within my heart, within my brain. It's that deep emotional connection, how I felt about it. That's the difference between a great promotion and a great wrestling show. There's lots of great wrestling shows.
Wow. You know
Now, I'll
what?
let you guys talk for a minute.
Yeah, thanks, Papa. I appreciate you letting us talk here on Indie Pop.
Especially Trina.
um,
Let's hear Trina right now.
Go ahead, Trina.
I'm in tears. Let me just give people some background here. Some people might not be familiar with Papa Hales. Both Damian and I have a lot of respect for him. And gaining his approval was a big thing for both of us individually. Damian did his own thing on the East Coast, attending shows, proving to Papa Hales that he was a great wrestling fan, and I did my part at AEW and a bunch of the promotions here, and so it means a lot to both of us that Papa would even do our show, let alone talk to us about wrestling for this long. Papa likes to call me his wrestling soulmate. And obviously that means a lot to me, but what you guys just heard is proof of that, because Papa's gleaned onto certain people that I've also been attached to, and we became attached to these people separately. I met Matt Kenway and Sean Orleans and Kurt Stallion all separate before I met Papa Hales. And then when I met Papa Hales and he started speaking very highly of exactly the same people that I love in this business and I support, that meant something to me. I mean, it is like a soulmate connection. There's something that Papa sees in these guys and I see in these guys that's really important to this sport. We see people that love it, and they want to make it evolve and they want to grow it and they want to keep it going. That's the important thing, I think, to us. And so it just means so much to me to hear everything that Papa's saying and just having it be exactly what I'm thinking. To hear his kind words for someone like Matt Kenway, because I've been with him on this journey. He's been working so hard to get here, and he's a kid who just really loves wrestling. He's been working so hard, and maybe he doesn't have the natural talent some of these other guys have, but he loves the business. He loves wrestling. He works so hard. And just to finally hear, maybe someone else, because I know how hard he works, but for Papa to have seen last year Matt Kenway and Matt Kenway now, and recognize the development is, for me, I'm just so happy for him as a friend, because I know this means a lot to him. And Sean Orleans, same thing. I mean, you guys don't know how integral he is to the St. Louis wrestling scene. This is a man that wrestling needs right now. And so it means a lot to me that Papa recognized him as well, because, Sean is in his 30s. He's one of the older guard in all of indie wrestling right now. And what he's done in the background that you guys don't even know, in terms of helping organize this, set this up, he's been Mike's right-hand man for a lot of this. Fun fact, Sean is the one who actually campaigned for me to be the ring announcer. So I owe him that much, at least, because I think what you're seeing here in all these names, Kurt Stallion, is people who just really love wrestling, and they just get it. It wasn't difficult for Mike to put this together. I mean, it was in terms of logistics and things like that, and schedules and all this different stuff. But it hasn't been a difficult process, because it's all seriously come from the heart, and just come from years of experience in this business. He just knows what he's doing. And I guarantee you that, I know he set a very high bar for the first show, but as somebody who works the shows now, I know that the shows after are going to be amazing, more amazing than what we put on Sunday. And that's crazy to think. But all I can say is that, I know this is the same for Mike, and I think this is why we work together. This is why I signed on to do this, even though I'd never been a ring announcer before or whatever. I told Mike from the beginning, I am 100% invested in whatever you want to do for wrestling in the St. Louis area, because I met his students first. I met Kurt Stallion first, Matt Kenway, and these are some of the best guys in the business in terms of being respectful, just decent, good quality people. The best guys I know actually in the business are all Big Mike students. And to see the integrity that they had, I'm like, their teacher must be a real stand-up guy, and then I got to spend some time with Mike and see him interact with the students. And, it just really, it touched me as a wrestling fan. I was like, I'm glad there's something like this happening in wrestling. I'm glad there is a man who understands the right way to do things, and still tries to instill that in the younger wrestlers and the younger guys that are coming up. So I right away, I saw that in Mike. I saw that in his students, that he was really trying to do something special, something pure, something that's just so like a love letter to wrestling. Like, that's what I felt like Sunday was. Glory Pro was Big Mike's love letter to St. Louis wrestling. I'm getting chills as I'm saying this, but it really was. Everything to me was perfect. And as somebody who worked the show, it's a testament to the feeling in that room, that I got more and more comfortable as the show went on. I kind of am watching a bit of the clips that I'm doing, and I don't really change my style for each wrestler. I took a class on ring announcing, and they talked about the storytelling that the ring announcer can do, and being up for the faces and being a little bit down for the heels, and trying to show people who you're supposed to root for and who you're not, who you're supposed to boo. But my general feeling was, I loved everybody on the card. I've gotten to know those St. Louis guys so well that it was an honor for me to announce them into the ring and say their names and introduce them. And so I was genuinely happy to announce every single person's name. And so I said each person's name with as much fervor as possible, because that's genuinely how I felt about saying their names. And I think Papa was talking about how it's great that Mike put local guys, but then also brought in talent. And I think the feeling that everybody had was that, one, we're so grateful that our local guys that have been wrestling for 15 years here, the Davey Vegas and the Matt Fitchett's, are getting some shine. But we're also glad that Ethan Page is out here, and that Space Monkey who just won the Chikara Young Lions tournament is out here. Like we're just grateful for good wrestling. You know, I think that's what you feel in the fan base at Glory Pro, is that we're super excited that our favorites are there, like Kurt Stallion and Matt Kenway and now, you know, Myron Reed. And that we have big names coming in from other places. It makes that feeling that we're part of something special. It solidifies it. You know, the fact that now Sami Callihan is going to come in, or now Cody Rhodes is going to be coming in for the third show. Like this means that other people recognize what Mike is trying to do, and they're all coming in for it.
Sammy's incredible. I love Sammy. You know, when he was down at PWX 16, he busted in my. Made a run-in on my podcast. I'm going to have to fight him over that. but otherwise, he's had a great year. I was so excited he's going to be on that card on May 7th, too. So all of that's important.
Right.
I'm just so excited to come back. I can't wait to come back.
Right. It's like a family reunion.
Right. I've already started spreading the gospel. I was talking to a friend of mine. Had a pretty lengthy conversation. Female wrestler who happens to be the brand new Wrestle Circus champion. I won't mention any names, but this person might be doing a shout out on her Twitter to Miss Glorious Gabby.
Ooh.
So could happen. You never know. But I'm just kind of spreading the word. To some folks that I know are hardworking, quality people that want to go wrestle at a top-notch promotion. It's up to them to make that connection and talk to Mike. And Mike knows what his plans are and what he needs and what he wants. But I want people to know that he is building something great. And because of the first show and the way that he's done things, he's going to be able to pick and choose and bring those people in that he wants that are going to be best for his promotion. And I've been through that experience with my association with SCI, with Scenic City Tournament, because that reputation has been built by 2 years of extremely hard work. And now this year, when the guys made the decision, which I wasn't in on, the booking decisions, but I am in on the financial decisions and the hospitality portion of it. But they had literally hundreds of people trying to get in because they built the right product. It was committed. It was done right. So the decisions were not, who can we find? It was, my gosh, how can we cut down this field? And that, I think, is a situation that Mike is going to be in. That he's going to have people that just want to be in there, and he's going to have to decide, my goodness, because he's done his homework. He's built what he needs as a starting ground. He's going to be able to make those choices. He won't have to be begging anybody. He's going to be, unfortunately, have to turn some people down, which I'm sure he already has.
Yes.
That want to come because they just don't fit what Mike needs for his promotion. And, you know, you don't need 25 captains to run a ship. I have complete confidence that Mike will make the right decisions. He knows what he's doing. And reaching out to fans in the way that he has, I think, is the smartest thing he's done, period. Smarter than even the great matches he's set up, smarter than anything, is he's made it fan-friendly. And I can't applaud him enough for that. And he's reaching into my heart. And that's scary because that's going to probably mean a lot of trips to St. Louis for me. You know, I have a hard time resisting that kind of stuff. But by the way, I thought you were phenomenal. I should have said that earlier, and I don't know why.
I'm going to cry again.
we have chatted about this, and I know you were nervous, and we're all nervous when we have things that we haven't done before that we have to tackle. But I knew you were the right person for that. I was 100% convinced. And it would be unnatural if you didn't have some reservations or some concerns or worries. What if I mess up? What if this isn't, you know, that's because of your perfectionism. You're too much of a perfectionist. I told you that. For me, I screw up so much, I just don't care anymore. But I knew you would be fabulous, and you were, and you're going to get better and better and better. And by the way, I thought your dress was pretty cool too. Just as an aside.
Yeah.
But I know at one point you kind of slipped a little bit when you got in before you weren't doing announcing or and I said, well, good, you got that over with then. I don't know whether you heard me or not, but I thought, whatever. Get up, get going. But did a really great job there, especially considering it was the first time out. So I was happy with that, mainly because I was happy for you, because I felt like that meant a lot to you, that you wanted to be that person that was going to provide a good face there in the ring and do the really great job announcing, because you're connected to everybody in there, Mike and everybody else, and you wanted to do your best, and I think you did. So pat yourself on the back.
Thank you, Papa. I'm very happy with that, and it's true. It's completely true. The reason why I wanted to do so well is because I care about everybody that was wrestling that night. I wanted this to be a great show for Matt Kenway, even though he was in a dark match. That's the type of person that Mike is. Like, you want to do a good job for him, and so that's what was driving me. Obviously I have a lot of perfectionist tendencies, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to put on a good show, and I felt like the fans felt that way, and I just want to make Mike proud, and that's always the best driver of success. I feel like, if you just want to put on a good show, that's all you really have to do. Thank you.
Now, I don't know what the salty dog over there was doing. He was probably just chilling the whole time. The only time I saw him was when he photobombed my picture. So.
Damian?
Did he go to sleep on us?
I know. Do we still have him? Uh-oh.
I must have talked too long.
If in case he comes back, I do appreciate the kind words, Papa, because I think you understand what both Mike and I are trying to do in this business, and the fact that you recognize that means a lot to me. And I think when you find real fans, and it's just something that you see and you feel, and you just get it, this is a soulmate. This is a wrestling soulmate that I'm meeting and I'm interacting with. And so,
see, you're my wrestling soulmate. I really picked it up from our conversations and our tweets. And I realized, wait a minute, there's a wavelength that we're communicating on that's not normal, or not, beyond the range of, there's an unspoken connection, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
About what we're feeling about wrestling, and about,
well, it means so much to me that because I do know a lot of the ins and outs of the show, everything that Mike put into this. And so I know what his intentions were, and to have you see it as an outsider, as a fan, and feel it means so much to me, because this is what we put into the show. This is why I'm working for Mike. This is why Mike is doing this. It really truly is a love letter to wrestling.
One other thing I thought was insightful that Dylan said, and of course, I respect Dylan's opinion as much as anybody in wrestling, because his knowledge in what he knows and what he has seen in wrestling is beyond my comprehension. His depth of knowledge and insight, I respect him more than anyone I know in that way in wrestling. But one of the things that he was very impressed with is, Mike is committed to this. He said, not only did he have a great first show, but he's got 2 more shows already planned, already invested in those. He's got the card going. He's got this next show in May. He's got the next one after that. He said he's building something. It's not, well, we're going to try this out one show, and if it doesn't work, well, that's it. So Dylan picked up on that. He said, Mike is building something. He said he's sending signals to me. He's sending signals to fans. This is going to be your promotion. You're going to be a part of this. This is something we're building. It's not a one-shot deal. It's not it's something he wants to build for the future, and he wants it to last. So Dylan was impressed with that.
Well, I'm here in case you guys didn't think I wasn't here. I am here. So wait a minute. This has been a great love letter to Glory Pro, but fans of indie pop and fans of Last Mark Standing, they know I tend to be the negative Nancy, or I wouldn't be salty Damian G if I didn't have things to say.
Yeah.
So I've let you both sing the love letter, but now it's time for yours truly to voice his rather salty opinions. Without getting overly emotional, because we know I don't. Let me just go on record and say, I am proud to be a part of this family that goes to shows and travels and will spend his hard-earned money to take these trips to cover these events, because as we all know, I am a broadcaster first, a fan second, and now I'm becoming a fan first and a broadcaster second. So for me to be able to vacillate between both, I guess, titles is a very good thing for me. I mean, I wasn't going to go to the May 7th event, and I'm already talking to Glory Pro through my email saying, I know you don't got any tickets left in first and second row, but I'm coming. So save me a GA or a third row. I'll be there. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to be there. Because to echo what Papa and what Trina are saying, it was something I have never seen in my entire life of being a wrestling fan or even a sports fan for that matter. 37 years on this planet, I've interviewed athletes, millionaires, wrestlers, fans. I gotta say, being a part of that press conference at the end of Glory Pro as a broadcaster, as a member of the media, is something I will never forget. It means more to me than interviewing people who have played in the NFL. It means more to me than interviewing people who are quote unquote rich. That means nothing compared to what I just experienced on Sunday. So much so, my butt is going to be there in May.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you know what? I wasn't originally planning to be there. I had to change my schedule. Fortunately, unlike you, I have important connections and was able to get some tickets. Well, I'm just being honest. Trina,
I feel you, Papa.
did you confirm, Trina, that I have some connections there?
Yes, yeah, indeed.
Well, see, that's the difference. Since I'm the media, I'm not supposed to have connections.
That's
so
right.
That's okay.
That's right.
I'm supposed to earn my keep, and I'm all right with that. But when we talk about the card, let me just say this. Paco Gonzalez was the MVP.
I love him. Dude, I love him. And you know, it's so clear to me that he's going to be I see where he's going to be positioned there. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy coming for it. And I'm sorry I had to jump in on that because I love him. Now, go ahead. I got to shut up because I'm talking too much.
Oh, I completely agree with you, Papa. Like the way from his first match with Kobe Durst to the four-way dance, I'm just thinking this kid's got something. The crowd's on his side. And what really set it off for me was, let me go back to what I said about New York fans being assholes. We tend to be jerks. Okay, we tend to be rude. When I don't know who it was, somebody made a comment about tacos for Paco, and the crowd turned on that guy and booed him.
Yes.
And, you know, they went at that guy. And I'm like, okay, the fact that this kid is sacrificing everything for this first show, he literally landed at my feet. And I whispered to him, great fucking job.
Yep.
You know, like I had to, because like I had to pay homage because that kid was busting his hump. And I'm not saying nobody else was, but he stuck out to me most out of everybody else. And I love Matt Kenway. I'm friends with Matt Kenway. I appreciate him. I love Ethan Page. I'm a big Ethan Page fan. We all know this. But for me to see a kid like Paco, and I don't know how old he is, but my goodness, Lord, when I see going to be a complete talent for that promotion, he is going to be the guy. So when and if he inevitably wins that title, it's going to be magical.
It's going to be unbelievable. Because
I can just imagine the pop.
He's perfectly set up for it because I could tell right then he's coming. He's going to be the guy, you know. and he's so talented. It's just incredible. Now, is he wrestling Cade? I'm trying to remember what's on that May 7th card. I don't remember.
I'm not sure, but let me just throw in a quick little note about Paco, because like I said, I do follow the St. Louis Big Mike's guys quite often, and so I've seen him wrestle in many places. I've seen him wrestle at AAW in LaSalle. I've seen him wrestle in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, and the vitriol and hate sometimes that this kid has to hear from the crowd while he's wrestling is unbelievable. And so I've been in the small towns with him while he's wrestling, and people are saying these horrible things. He's built out of Chicago. LaSalle is right outside Chicago, and the things that people say to him when he's in the ring. And so he's a fantastic wrestler, obviously, but he's also just a person of integrity, and he's put up with a lot to get to this point. And so it's not just the normal, it's tough becoming a wrestler. It's tough being a person of color, and trying to become a wrestler. And,
of course it is.
Yeah. And I want to say, as somebody who has followed his career, the stuff that he has to put up with in other places where he wrestles. I mean, this is his hometown promotion. He's trained by Big Mike. The St. Louis area knows him very well. But when he goes out of those areas, when he goes out of St. Louis, the crowd does not treat him well. And so to see the foreshadowing of him becoming the champion, and when you guys talked about the moment when he becomes a champion, I'm choking up because this kid deserves it, more than anybody else that I've seen. And it will be a magical moment. And I would probably, even though I'll probably ring announce it, I'm probably going to cry when it's happening. So
you are.
Well, I was just ecstatic. Of course, I've seen him a few times before, but he's always been good. But he was just great the other night, and I just know where that's building because Mike's telling a story, what you have to do to be successful. And I'm glad that the crowd turned on that guy, and I wish they would always turn on these idiots that make these racist and misogynistic comments at shows. I'll be honest with you, Trina, you know me. I will call them out.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to make a big spectacle of it. I'll go to them privately, but I'll tell them, no, we're not going to have that.
Yeah.
You can leave. And I've told fans that. And, if they want to take a shot at me, go ahead and swing at me and see how they do. I don't think they'll do too well. I think I have a few friends that might have my back. And I never want to get in any kind of a situation like that, but I always want wrestling to be for everyone. Wrestling should be for all of us, no matter who we are, no matter what our race is, no matter who we love, no matter what our sex is, male or female. None of that should matter. Wrestling should be for everyone, and we must strive to make it a safe place, a joyful place for every single person, and everybody needs to be respected. That's the one thing that will get me riled up. I try to be nice to everybody. I do my best to be very nice to everybody. But when you step on somebody's personhood and you attack somebody as a human being, you're going to get a response from me, and you're probably not going to like it because we all are precious, unique, and special. We all deserve love. We all deserve respect. And by God, we all deserve good wrestling.
Indeed.
And on that note, I feel like this is the perfect time to end because I can't add anything else that's going to top what you two have already gone and shared with the indie pop audience. So I want to take some time to thank Papa Hales for coming on our show and for saving me from my ugly ass voice right now. So
stop it.
So thank you so much, Papa. Where can people find you?
All right. On Twitter, it's Papa Hales at Mike Hales 9. And I need more followers because I'm not over 2,000 yet. And I'm getting close. So everybody needs to immediately drop everything you're doing and follow me. You can also catch me at PW Ponderings under Papa Hales. You can also catch me Wrestling with Words, Papa Hales. and I am now associated with Powerbomb TV. I will have my own Powerbomb TV show, which will be called Fired Up, which will become a regular part of Powerbomb TV. And I am looking at doing my first interviews for that show actually at Wrestle Circus on March the 17th. So look for me with a camera for some wild interviews. And believe me, I'm a shooter. There's no telling where this is going.
It's going to be fun. This is Kurt Stallion's debut over in Wrestle Circus, so this is really going to be a good time.
Well, I had tweeted out that if they bring Kurt Stallion and Fred Yehi and Riddle to Wrestle Circus, I will go. So they're bringing them all in, and I got a DM from the promoter. Well, they're coming. So I said, well, I guess I got to live up to my word, right? So I will be out there for that, and I'm hoping to do my first sets, start putting together my first show for Powerbomb TV.
Awesome.
And you have a podcast too, don't you, Papa?
I do. Talking Graps at Talking Graps, which is also on Wrestling with Words. We usually do only about once a month. We actually talked about Glory Pro fairly extensively on the last podcast. And we also talked about Queens of Combat, which is a show that I was on the weekend, and Nova Pro in Virginia. So Talking Graps at Talking Graps, also found at Wrestling with Words.
Okay. And Trina, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Really quick, and I know this is a love fest from Glory Pro on Sunday. I just want to give a shout out to my OI4K guys who made their debut at PWG on Saturday. We probably won't see that footage until 6 months from now, but very happy for them, really proud of them. I was prepping for my announcing debut, so I could not make it out there, but Mike also wrestled, and Matt Riddle both wrestled on that PWG card on Saturday. And so I heard awesome things about it. So just a big shout out to those guys. I love them. This was fantastic. Thank you so much, Papa.
Oh, this was great.
I'd love being on. Can I give 2 shout outs that happened this weekend that I wasn't at?
Yeah.
Anthony Henry. Great rising star in Southern Wrestling. He won the PWX championship. And after winning PWX 16, Anthony is such a great rising star, evolve and style battle. He's one of the comers in the professional wrestling. I want to shout out to Anthony. He's a good friend of mine. Shout out to Sue Young. Fantastic matches at Queens of Combat and retained the belt for Queens of Combat, and also had a great match against Taylor Hendricks in Charlotte this weekend.
Yes, I saw footage from that.
Last shout out to my buddy, my good friend, my close friend, Rachel Ellering, who is the new Wrestle Circus Women's Ladies Champion. And just a fabulous person, and just a shooting star, just absolutely out of control rising in the industry. And I'm sorry I'm using so much time. That's it.
No. Oh, we love it.
No, we're good. This is one of those episodes where we are completely all right with the guest pretty much being the main star attraction. Because my voice sounds like crud. Trina's busy crying. So I think we've had a good show here on Indie Pop and Papa. You're more than welcome to come back at any time. So please come back, all right?
I will. Thank you guys so much for having me on. You know I love you both. I love you from the heart.
Me too, Papa. You know that.
I will see you soon.
Cool. So everyone on New Age Insiders, please tune in, Indie Pop. Look for us, Last Mark Standing at lastmarkstanding.com, our show at Last Mark Podcast, myself at Dare to be Damian, Trina at the Marky Smark. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.